Hey, 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 English learners! Welcome back to Speak with Joey and Phoebe, your English speaking podcast, where we practice real English for real life, one simple conversation at a time.
Hi, everyone. I am Joey. And honestly, today's topic is perfect for me because this morning I had too many feelings before breakfast.
Whew, too many feelings before breakfast? Joey, that sounds like a very dramatic morning. What happened?
I woke up tired. Then I felt hungry. Then I felt confused because I forgot what day it was. And after that, I felt nervous because I remembered my long to-do list.
That is a lot for one morning, and you still have not even reached breakfast yet.
Exactly. Then I opened the fridge, stared at the food for a long time, and somehow felt overwhelmed by yogurt.
Overwhelmed by yogurt is very specific, Joey. But actually, this is a perfect topic for today.
Good, because sometimes I am fine is not enough, especially when my brain is full of tiredness, hunger, confusion, and yogurt pressure.
Yes, and that is exactly what we are practicing today. This is day 13 of your 30-day English speaking challenge.
And today, we are learning how to talk about feelings in English.
This lesson is for A2 level learners, so we will keep the English simple, useful, and natural.
That sounds good to me because feelings are already complicated enough, so the English needs to stay simple.
Exactly. Today we will learn phrases like, I feel tired, I feel nervous, I feel overwhelmed, I feel relieved, and I am not feeling my best today.
I already like that last one because it sounds honest, but not too heavy.
Yes, and that is a very important point. In English, we often talk about feelings in a soft way, especially in everyday conversations.
So I do not need to explain my whole life story when someone asks, "How are you?"
Exactly. Sometimes you can give a simple answer, like, I am okay, just a little tired today.
That sounds much more real than saying, "I am fine," when I am definitely not fine.
Yes, I am fine is useful, but we use it too much. Today, we are going to give learners better choices.
Better choices are good because this morning, fine was not strong enough for me or the yogurt.
Okay, Joey, let's start with your morning and use it to learn some real phrases.
All right, so first I woke up tired and I wanted to say I am tired, but maybe there is a softer way to say it.
Yes, you could use, I feel a little tired today, or I am feeling a bit tired this morning.
I like a little and a bit because they make the sentence sound softer and more polite.
Exactly. A little and a bit are very useful in English because they make feelings sound less strong.
So instead of saying I am very tired, I can say I feel a little tired today.
Yes, and you can use that with friends, coworkers, classmates, or even someone you do not know very well.
So if someone says, "How are you this morning?" I can answer, "I am okay, just a little tired."
Perfect. That answer is simple, honest, and still friendly.
And it does not sound like I am asking them to solve my whole life.
Exactly. It gives a small feeling, not a full diary entry.
Good, because my full diary entry this morning would be too long and mostly about breakfast.
Now, after tired, you said you felt hungry. And that one is easy because we can say, I am hungry.
Yes, but sometimes I am not just hungry. Sometimes I am hungry and emotional at the same time.
That is true for many people. And in casual English, people might say, I am getting a little hungry.
Oh, I like that. I am getting a little hungry. Sounds like the feeling is starting slowly.
Exactly. Use I am getting when a feeling is starting or becoming stronger.
So I can say, I am getting tired, I am getting nervous, or I am getting a little hungry.
Yes, and this is very useful because feelings change during the day.
That makes sense. In the morning, I was getting hungry, and by 10 o'clock, I was getting dramatic.
We may not teach getting dramatic as a main phrase today, but it is funny and very Joey.
Fair enough. Let's keep the lesson useful, even if my morning was a little strange.
Next, you said you felt confused because you forgot what day it was.
Yes, and I said, I feel confused, but I want to know when learners can use that phrase.
They can use I feel confused when they do not understand something or when their mind is not clear.
So, if a teacher explains something too fast, I can say, I feel a little confused.
Yes, and that is a very polite sentence because a little makes it softer.
That feels useful because saying, I do not understand anything can sound a bit strong.
Exactly. I feel a little confused sounds calmer and easier to say in class, at work, or in a new place.
So, if I am at the train station and I do not understand the signs, I can say, I feel a little confused.
Yes, and if you need help, you can add, could you help me, please?
That is good. So, the full sentence can be, I feel a little confused. Could you help me, please?
Perfect. That is simple, polite, and very useful for our learners.
I like that because it tells the person how I feel and what I need.
Exactly. Feeling phrases become more powerful when you add a simple request.
So, not only I feel confused, but also, could you explain that again?
Yes, and that is a great phrase for school, work, meetings, or online lessons.
I feel better already, and we have only talked about 3 feelings.
Good. Now let's talk about nervous, because many learners feel nervous when they speak English.
Oh, I know that feeling. Even as a teacher, I sometimes feel nervous in new situations.
That is normal. You can say, I feel nervous, or I am feeling a little nervous today.
Where can learners use that phrase?
You can use it before a test, before a job interview, before a phone call, before a meeting, or before speaking English with someone new.
So I can say, I feel a little nervous about my interview tomorrow.
Exactly. Use about when you want to explain the reason for the feeling.
So the pattern is, I feel nervous about something.
Yes, I feel nervous about my test. I feel nervous about the meeting, or I feel nervous about speaking English.
That is a very useful pattern because the reason helps the listener understand me.
Exactly. And if you want to sound softer, you can say, I am a little nervous about it.
I like that because it sounds natural and not too dramatic.
Yes, and that is important. A2 learners do not need very big words to sound natural.
Simple words can still explain real feelings.
Exactly. Now let's go back to your yogurt problem.
No, the yogurt moment.
You said you felt overwhelmed, and that is a very useful word, but maybe a little new for A2 learners.
Yes, overwhelmed sounds big, but I feel it a lot.
Overwhelmed means you have too much to do, too much to think about, or too many feelings at the same time.
So if I have many emails, many tasks, and only one brain, I can say, I feel overwhelmed.
Exactly. You can also say, I feel a little overwhelmed today.
That sounds softer and honestly, more useful in real life.
Yes, because sometimes we do not want to sound too serious, but we still want to be honest.
So if someone asks, are you okay? I can say, I am okay, just feeling a little overwhelmed today.
Perfect. That sentence is honest, but still simple and polite.
I like that because it does not invite a huge conversation unless I want one.
Exactly. And that is why this phrase is useful at work, at school, or with friends.
So Overwhelmed is when my brain has too many tabs open.
Yes, Joey. That is a very clear way to explain it.
Honestly, I had too many things in my head, and then even choosing yogurt felt difficult.
Somehow the yogurt is still part of this lesson, but I respect it.
Thank you. The yogurt helped us teach English today.
Now let's talk about another useful phrase. I am not feeling my best today.
I like that phrase already because it sounds polite and honest.
Yes, you can use I am not feeling my best today when you feel tired, sick, sad, stressed, or just not great.
So I do not have to explain exactly what is wrong.
Exactly. It gives a little information, but it keeps your privacy.
That is useful at work because maybe I do not want to tell everyone the full story.
I am not feeling my best today, but I will do my best.
That sounds professional and kind.
Exactly. And with a friend, you can say, I am not feeling my best today. Can we talk later?
That is useful because it sets a small boundary in a polite way.
Yes, and that is very natural English. You are honest, but you are not rude.
I think learners need this phrase because life is not always simple.
That is true. English should help you explain real life, not only perfect days.
Okay, now I want to talk about good feelings too, because this morning was not only yogurt sadness.
Good idea. Let's talk about happy feelings, but in a more natural way than only saying, I am happy.
Yes, because I am happy is useful, but sometimes I want to be more specific.
Exactly. You can say, I feel excited, I feel proud, I feel relaxed, or I feel relieved.
I know excited. That means I feel happy about something that is going to happen.
Yes, you are absolutely right, Joey. We always use, I feel excited about my trip, or I feel excited about the weekend, or I feel excited about learning English.
So again, I can use about to explain the reason.
Yes, I feel excited about is a very useful pattern.
I feel excited about dinner tonight, especially if the yogurt is not involved.
Very natural sentence, Joey, and also very personal.
Thank you. I try to make every lesson a little personal.
Now, proud is another good feeling word. Use it when you feel happy because you did something well.
So I can say I feel proud of myself.
Yes, and that is a beautiful sentence for learners.
I feel proud of myself because I spoke English today, even though I was nervous.
Exactly. That sentence is simple, clear, and very encouraging.
I like that. Learners should say that more often.
Yes, because learning English takes time, and every small step matters.
So if someone writes one sentence in English, they can feel proud.
Absolutely. If someone watches this lesson and learns one useful phrase, that is progress.
That makes me feel encouraged.
Good word. Encouraged means you feel more hopeful and ready to continue.
So if your words help me continue, I can say, I feel encouraged.
Exactly. You can use it when someone supports you, teaches you, or says something kind.
That is a nice feeling word. It sounds calm, but positive.
Yes, and it is useful in learning because students often need encouragement.
Very true. Sometimes one kind sentence can help someone keep going.
Now let's talk about relieved, because this is a very common feeling after stress.
Oh, I know. Relieved. That is when a problem is finished and my shoulders finally come down.
Exactly. You can say, I feel relieved, or I am so relieved.
When can learners use it?
You can use it after a test is finished, after you find your lost phone, after you finish a difficult call, or after a problem is solved.
So if I find my keys after 10 minutes of panic, I can say, I feel so relieved.
Perfect. And if you want a softer version, you can say, I feel a little relieved now.
I like now at the end because it shows the feeling changed.
Yes, now is helpful. It shows that before you felt stressed, but now you feel better.
So the sentence tells a small story.
Exactly. Good English often tells a small story in a simple sentence.
That is a nice way to think about it.
Now, let's talk about how to answer the question, how are you feeling?
This is important because people ask, "How are you?" all the time.
Yes, and your answer depends on the person and the situation.
So I should not answer my boss the same way I answer my best friend?
Exactly. With a coworker, you might say, I am okay, just a little tired today.
That sounds polite and not too personal.
Yes. With a close friend, you can say more, like, I am feeling a little overwhelmed, but I think I will be okay.
That sounds honest and safe.
Exactly. And with someone you do not know well, you can keep it simple and say, I am doing all right, thanks.
So the phrase changes with the relationship.
Yes, English is not only about words, it is also about the situation.
That makes sense. Same feeling, different sentence.
Exactly. If you are tired at work, you might say, I am a little tired today, but I am okay.
And if I am tired with a friend, I can say, I am exhausted and I need a nap.
Yes, but exhausted is stronger than tired, so use it when you are very tired.
Good note. Tired is normal. Exhausted is my body asking for a charger.
That is funny. But yes, exhausted means very, very tired.
So if learners want simple A2 English, tired is enough, and exhausted is extra useful.
Exactly. Start with simple words first, then add stronger words slowly.
That is a good rule for feelings.
Now, feelings are not only about yourself. Sometimes you need to respond to another person's feelings.
Oh, that is important. What should I say if someone tells me they feel nervous?
You can say, I understand, or that sounds stressful, or I hope it goes well.
Those are good because they do not try to fix everything.
Exactly. Sometimes people do not need advice. They just need someone to listen.
So if someone says, I feel overwhelmed, I should not immediately say, make a list and drink water?
Not right away, Joey. First, you can show that you understand by saying, that sounds really stressful.
That sounds more caring.
Yes, use that sounds when you want to respond to someone's feeling.
So I can say, that sounds exciting. That sounds stressful. That sounds difficult. Or that sounds fun.
Perfect. This is a very natural phrase because it shows you are listening.
I like it because I do not need a long answer.
Exactly. That sounds is short, natural, and very useful.
If someone says, I have a job interview tomorrow, I can say, that sounds exciting, but maybe a little stressful.
Yes, and that answer shows you understand both feelings.
Because sometimes we feel two things at the same time.
Correct. You can feel excited and nervous. You can feel happy and tired. You can feel proud and a little scared.
That is real life. Feelings are not always one clear box.
Yes, and in English, you can say, I have mixed feelings.
Mixed feelings. I like that. It means I feel more than one thing.
Exactly. Use I have mixed feelings when you're not fully happy or fully sad about something.
So if I am moving to a new city, I can say I have mixed feelings.
Yes, you may feel excited about the new place, but sad about leaving your old place.
That is a very useful phrase, but still simple.
Yes, it is good for our learners because it helps explain real emotions without too many difficult words.
I loved mixed feelings about my fridge because it gives me food, but also confusion.
That is a very Joey example, but the phrase is correct. I have mixed feelings means you feel more than one emotion about the same thing.
I like that because real feelings are not always simple. Sometimes two feelings are sitting in the same chair.
That is a funny way to say it, Joey. But yes, that is real life.
So today, we learned a lot of useful feeling phrases without making the English too difficult.
Yes. And remember, this lesson is for A2 level learners, so you do not need big words to explain real feelings.
You can say, I feel a little tired today, when you are tired, but still okay.
You can say, I feel nervous about it, when something important is coming soon.
You can say, I feel a little confused, when you do not understand something clearly.
You can say, I feel overwhelmed when there is too much to do or too much to think about.
And you can say, I am not feeling my best today, when you do not feel great, but you do not want to explain everything.
Exactly. That last phrase is very useful because it's honest, polite, and still private.
I like that. It gives information, but it does not open the door to my entire life story.
Yes, and that is important. In everyday English, you can be honest without sharing too much.
Now, what should learners say when someone else shares a feeling?
Good question. If someone says, I feel nervous, you can say, I understand, or I hope it goes well.
And if someone says, I feel overwhelmed, I can say, that sounds really stressful.
Perfect. That sounds like is a very useful phrase because it shows you are listening.
So I can say, that sounds exciting, that sounds difficult, that sounds stressful, or that sounds fun.
Correct. You do not always need to give advice. Sometimes a kind reply is enough.
That is good to remember, because sometimes I try to fix everything too quickly.
Don't worry. Many people do that. But feelings do not always need a solution right away.
Sometimes people just need someone to understand.
Exactly. So when someone shares a feeling, listen first, then answer kindly.
That feels simple and useful.
Let's do a quick recap before we finish.
Today, we learned that I am fine is useful, but it is not the only answer.
We learned softer phrases, like, I feel a little tired, I am feeling a bit nervous, and I am not feeling my best today.
We learned stronger feeling words like overwhelmed, relieved, proud, and mixed feelings.
We also learned that a little and a bit make feeling sentences softer and more natural.
And we also learned that about helps explain the reason, like, I feel nervous about my interview.
These small words help your English sound more natural.
Learners, your task today is simple. Write one sentence in the comments about how you feel today.
You can write, I feel a little tired today, or I feel excited about learning English.
You can also write, I am not feeling my best today, if that is true for you.
Keep it simple. One honest feeling sentence is enough.
And if you want to add a reason, use because.
For example, I feel proud of myself because I studied English today.
That is a beautiful sentence, and I hope many learners can say it today.
If this lesson helped you, please like this video and subscribe to Speak with Joey and Phoebe.
It really helps more English learners find our lessons, and it also helps us keep making these simple conversations for you.
Come back for day 14 of your 30-day English speaking challenge, and we are going to practice past tense conversation in English.
That means we will talk about things that already happened, things from yesterday, last weekend, or even this morning.
Yes, and we will keep it simple, natural, and useful for real conversations.
Perfect, because I have many past tense stories, and some of them are a little embarrassing.
Then day 14 should be very interesting.
Keep speaking, keep learning, and remember, you can feel nervous and still speak English.
See you in the next lesson, everyone. Bye for now.